How dare you? You have stolen my dreams. How dare you?
Happy coronavirus, everybody.
Yes, surprise. I've been cake this whole time, actually.
So what is this cake thing?
It's just a stupid meme that's been circulating for the last week or so, where somebody posted like this beautiful cake art of like a human hand and somebody taking a knife through it and revealing a cross section of cake.
Oh god, why do people do that? Why they make gross cakes?
I know, and like what that's made of is just fondant, and fondant is disgusting,
Yeah.
dude.
Is that the same as marzipan?
I think they're slightly different. Fondant is like chalkier and like harder, and it can get like more smooth, so that's how people make things that look realistic, like hands and stuff. I had a friend who like made like a little mermaid cake out of fondant, and I was like, could I get like a center piece, you know, like the cross section of, you go down one way and you cut it open, but you still have fondant on the top and the sides. I need like another slice so that you get the square with just fondant on top, and then I need a cross section of that horizontally across parallel to the ground so I can not get any of the fondant because it's gross.
Yeah.
I hate it. It was a beautiful cake, but it was just, I hate fondant.
That's the thing,
so
is the
gross.
prettiest cakes probably taste like shit.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The thing is, like, you could make such a really great cake if you just buy cake mix and replace the water with something else. If you replace the water with like almond milk, or if you replace it with regular milk, that cake mix is fucking delicious. It's perfect. It's the best you could ever imagine. And all you have to do is just replace the water with something else.
Cake kind of sucks.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I'm more of a pie man myself,
Me
but
too.
if I had to make a cake, that's what I would do.
Mhm.
And you would replace like vegetable oil with a better oil.
Yeah.
You know?
Butter.
Butter. There you go. That makes the fucking mwah.
I think like coconut
Delicious
oil is like
cake.
almost as good as butter, but not as good.
Right. Coconut oil.
So Nick Cannon's got a full Hotep.
He sure has, and it's fucking crazy. I mean, I expected him of all people, but like I haven't seen his name in the news.
Well,
in a long
the picture
time.
you pulled of him, he's been wearing those things for a while, which is a pretty good sign that Hotep was coming.
I haven't seen him in a while, and I didn't know he was wearing those. But yeah, he's
Looking like a Hotep genie.
Yeah, he
essentially.
said that melanated people are the true Hebrews.
Well, yeah. So let's go ahead and play that clip here.
He's-
Oops, not that one.
he's
We'll play
so
this. We'll play
gone.
this one first.
Okay, thank you. I really
The fucking drip, man.
the fucking drip.
Crazy? Yeah, my nigga. Look at the fucking drip, man. Hold on, let me take a picture of my son real quick, son. Hold on, B. Hold on, yeah. Look at the fucking drip.
Look at the fucking
Look at
drip.
the fucking drip. Y'all know it's fucking fly. You shit me? If you shit me, my son got the Denver Nugget jeans. If you fucking shit me,
For nugget cheese.
I love when he says that and he starts going like that. He's like, "Fuck yeah, my Denver Nuggets jeans."
Hell yeah,
Denver
dude.
Nuggets jeans.
We are big fans of this. It has the same energy as Put It in Reverse, Terry.
Totally.
Because like they're trying to include him on the fun.
I'm glad that you
know?
saw it that way because I saw it as them just
You s-
bullying
yeah.
a disabled guy.
Yeah, you saw it as bullying. I thought of it as yeah, so Terry couldn't light the firecrackers himself, so his friends did it for him and like had it right next to him. Like, participate.
Yeah.
This is the same thing. This is I wish we knew his name.
Me too. What I love about it so much
This
is
is
that
him
like,
participating in the drip, you know?
unfortunately Sean can't see because my monitor broke, but there's like a part in the beginning where he like
crazy?
he throws up like a sign. He's like, yep.
crazy?
And he like he's like
Yeah, my
strutting.
nigga. Look at the fucking drip, man.
I can see it from the side
Yeah.
a little bit.
Hold
The
on,
fucking
let me
drip,
take a
man.
picture of my son real quick, son. Hold on, B. Hold
Shoulder
on,
out.
yeah. Look at the fucking drip. Yeah. Look at the fucking drip. Y'all know it's
So
fucking
good.
fly. You shit me? If you shit me, my son got the Denver Nugget jeans. If you fucking shit me,
The way he says the Denver Nugget jeans.
Denver Nuggets jeans.
So good.
So that's a good way to start it off. So here's
This is Nick Cannon.
here's Nick Cannon.
Then
Going
let's go.
fucking-
Let's go to what it really is. Then when we talk about the power of melanin,
He thinks he's having a big brain moment.
We are as guys, and
Right.
understanding that our melanin is so power and it connects us in a way that the reason why they
I love when stupid people talk like they're intellectuals, like they're trying to pull something out, and and the whole like melanin, like just it's like meaningless. Like like yes, you'll have different levels of sun absorption, but it's like really about it.
fear black. The reason why they fear is because the lack that they have of it. So then when you see what Dr. Francis C. Welsling talked about is that.
Is that the
fear
right
in
name?
That
I forget.
Genetic annihilation.
deficiency.
He barely spit that name out.
I
So
know.
I'm not really sure exactly what he said.
He didn't say it confidently.
Let's see
so
if we
I'm
can
not
hear what
sure.
it is.
Fear in that
genetic
annihilation. What Dr. Francis C. Welsling talked.
Dr. Frederick C. Webb.
Francis C. Welsling.
Okay.
I don't know. I really don't
Anyway,
know.
let's let it go. We'll figure out who that is.
Is that fear in that
genetic annihilation.
deficiency of when you have a person that has the lack.
I gotta be honest. When I first watched this video, I thought the guy on the left until he spoke was Pharrell, and I was like, "Damn, Pharrell's finally looking old."
Oh my god. Pharrell will never
lack of
age.
melanin,
Right.
That they know that they will be annihilated. So therefore, however they got the power, they have the lack of compassion. That melanin comes with compassion. Melanin comes with soul. That we call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters. That's the melanin that connects us. So
Right.
the people that don't have it are a little. And I'm gonna say this carefully.
Yeah, you sure are.
A little less. And where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister
Thank
Farrakhan,
God.
to where
Minister Farrakhan, of course, like, and that's like the thing is like when Farrakhan comes up, you're like, oh, you've lost your fucking mind.
they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun that was.
So just like to preface, what he's talking about here is the idea that like this really debunked idea that everywhere was black and like Egyptians were black and Beethoven was black. It's part of this like crazy. It's the Hotep stuff.
Was that the sun then started to deteriorate them? So then they're acting
Deteriorate.
out of fear. They're acting out.
I love
of
his yes
low
man there with
self-esteem.
him.
They're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
Fight or
pillage.
flight, okay.
And
I love that the way that he says that, as if this doesn't happen in every single culture. And like, let's take a look at Africa right now.
It's so strange because you could replace like melanated people with whiteness or whatever, or melanin with whiteness.
It's exactly-
and it's racist
it's the
as
same
fuck.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Also, what's so funny about that is like, are we raping virgins in America to thinking that it'll cure HIV? Like, it's like,
Oh, tread lightly. Put this carefully, as Nick Cannon would say.
I mean, yeah, I'm just calling. It's one of those things of like, look, that was such a weird statement though. Like,
Oh, I know.
so therefore, the only way that they can act is evil.
Yeah, the only way white people
they
can
have
act.
to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
Fight or
pillage
flight,
in
okay.
in order to.
what? Fight or flight? Okay.
That guy is me when you go on one of these talks.
Uh-huh.
Not one of these, as in these racial talks. 'Cause
Yes.
you don't do that.
No, of course not.
But when you go on like a rampage, I'm like, right, fight or flight. Yep.
Yep.
That's my role on this podcast.
What I love about that moment is that literally nothing of what he's talking about has anything to do with the fight or flight response.
None.
Low self-esteem. They're acting out of
Trickle-down
a
economics.
deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
Fight or
pillage
flight,
in
okay.
order to survive.
It is so funny.
The only way
The-
they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
Fight or
pillage
flight,
in
okay.
He
order
thinks
to
he has it.
survive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
They had to be savages.
You know, melanated
had
is. I
to
looked
be
it up. It
barbaric.
like wasn't a term until like a couple years ago.
It's how language is just getting.
I
really
know, it's
good.
crazy. The thing about this is that Nick Cannon got fired from his Viacom jobs
And it was something different than
for
this, though, wasn't it?
anti-Semitism.
Right, and when he starts to quote that he's listening to Minister Farrakhan, you know that's going to come out.
Yeah, and not in this clip, but in other clips, he talks about the Rothschilds. He talks about the 13 families or something. Is that like the Jewish thing?
No, well, I think it's just like it's power brokers who are wealthy during whatever.
But he talks about centralized banking, and it's like, what territory you're getting into? And then he says that black people are the true Hebrews, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, Nick Cannon, what the fuck are you getting into? It's the same as fucking Ice Cube, who like fell into this weird like black supremacy kind of thing that is very much tied to anti-Semitism.
What's so funny though is like every supremacy movement always shits on it always comes back to the Jews.
Always,
every single
dude.
Time.
It's fucking crazy.
And it's never like a because we've said this before that like criticism of Israel is valid. Like it's not obviously not the people, but the government, how it's run, our weird fucking relationship with it, which we'll get into that with old Ghislaine.
Oh yeah,
but. Yeah, it just always ends. It always ends with the Jews.
It's so bizarre. I think like just people who feel oppressed need to have an enemy, and I don't know. It points back to Jewish people every time they need an enemy. It's like, come on.
I remember when like Howard Stern would have on Daniel Carver. Like he obviously had
Daniel Carver?
He was like some grand, or I think he's still alive, but grand wizard of some KKK thing. So he'd have him on or call him or whatever, and. It was interesting because like he always had a lot of ire for black people, but it seems like Jews were really the focus of his ire.
Oh my god!
Which is funny that he would talk to Howard Stern. But anyway, let's let this finish.
Oh, we didn't.
They had because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough, torrential environments.
What the fuck are you talking about?
They're acting as animals.
Rough torrential environments.
Right. So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are.
Oh yeah.
The true savages.
Yeah.
And then they built up such this I don't want to say warrior, but they built up such this conquering barbaric mentality. Then
I really think Nick Cannon thinks Wakanda is real.
I think that's actually I went to the YouTube clip. That's like one of the top comments or something.
I mean it like
he really thinks
that was
Wakanda.
the longest 2 minutes of my life of the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my like how
it's hilarious though.
Yeah, it is because it's just the inevitable conclusion of this stuff is like of course like I guarantee he's not gonna be the first one. It's gonna be a bunch of black celebrities that come out and start talking like this. Yeah,
Ice Cube was one of the first
and it's not about them being black. It's about like us thinking it's a good idea to put a microphone in front of stupid people, which is just like just because they're famous doesn't mean they're intelligent or like interesting to listen to. It's ridiculous. So this was the kind of the inevitable conclusion. So let's put what I'm saying is like, well, first off, I should say that I love the Hotep thing. I love it. It's like it's my favorite thing of all time. And because it's like an acceptable form of supremacy. And so like I almost kind of get my rocks off like in terms of just because they're just allowed to say whatever they want to say. I guess he's not. I guess the Jews are the way they draw the line. But yeah, I wonder what's going to happen with him. I wonder. He did issue some apology though, didn't he?
I think he refused to apologize. I think his deal was like, his thing was like, what do you guys want me to say? I'm sorry. Do you want me to take it back? What I want you all to take back is the shitty deal you gave me with my Viacom show or whatever, because he doesn't own it. He doesn't own the show that he created or something. I think he turned it into that kind of thing.
Yeah, dude, you signed the contract.
Yeah, you should have fucking read it, loser.
I don't know. I loved this story. I loved it so much.
Yeah, but speaking of Wakanda, Kanye West did that interview, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you show me that? Did we play it on the podcast?
Yeah. Let me. No, we didn't play it on the podcast. We read it when we were in San Diego. Let me read what he said exactly.
Yeah, please find it. Because, well, to break the news, you guys, Kanye West dropped out of the race.
After 2 weeks of being in.
2 weeks of being in the race, Kanye West has dropped out, and I was saying, like, the damage is already done. You know, people are still going to vote for him. They're going to write him in regardless. Even though he was never going to be on the ballot, it always was going to be a write-in.
Right.
Did you find it?
I'm about to.
Okay. But, yeah, people are still going to vote for him for fun because fucking who wants to vote for Joe Biden and Donald Trump, two known rapists?
So here it is. So he gave an interview to Forbes, and he says, but I'm going to use the framework of Wakanda right now because it's the best explanation of what our design group is going to feel like in the White House. that is a positive idea. You got Kanye West, one of the most powerful humans. I'm not saying the most, because you got a lot of alien level superpowers, and it's only collectively that we can be set free. Let's get back to Wakanda, like in the movie in Wakanda. Like the movie in Wakanda. I think he thinks Black Panther's called Wakanda, by the way, which is what made this so funny to me. So he says, the rapper continued, let's get back to Wakanda, like in the movie in Wakanda, when the king went to visit the lead scientist to have the shoes wrap around her shoes. That's exactly what it is. Just the amount of innovation that can happen, the amount of innovation in medicine, like Big Pharma, we're going to work, innovate together. Let me read that again. Let's get back to Wakanda, like in the movie Wakanda, when the king went to visit the lead scientist to have the shoes wrap around her shoes. Just the amount of innovation that can happen, the amount of innovation in medicine, like Big Pharma, we are going to work innovative together.
What the fuck is he fucking talking about? I hope Trump puts him in a cabinet position.
I hope he goes full Hotep too, and like wears a MAGA hat while he's doing it. That would be
a MAGA hat, but it's not red. It's the kente cloth pattern.
Dude.
That's what it is.
Yeah, a kente cloth, make America great again hat. Dude, that would be the most epic troll he could ever pull off. Yeah. If I were him, I would totally do that right now.
Yeah.
Just because it would be mocking kind of both of them.
Oh my god, dude. I don't know what the fuck he is on about, but he's just everybody's lost their goddamn minds.
Agreed.
Like in the movie in Wakanda.
Yeah, like in the movie Wakanda.
Like in the movie Wakanda.
Right.
When she makes the shoes that wrap around her shoes.
And what's so funny about that is it just goes to show what he pays attention to.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't remember that at all in the movie.
I remember the joke she made about it. She calls them sneakers, right? They're shoes that don't make sound.
Oh, right.
She calls them sneakers.
Yeah. I do remember that. All I remember is like how silly the plot was in terms of you're supposed to root for for T'Challa, the main guy, but Michael B. Jordan, who's the villain of the movie, is the one that's like, hey, you have this magic space rock that gave you a bunch of technology. Maybe you should like share it with the world. And they're like, no, we have borders. So he's like this like crazy like techno nationalist, and then then they kill Michael B. Jordan and decide, oh, maybe we should, now that we've killed him, we probably should take some of his ideas and do stuff. So they build a small community center in Oakland.
So cool. I love, spoiler alert for fucking Black Panther, which came out 3 years ago or something. Maybe 2. I think it was like January of 2018 or something.
The most important movie in America?
Yeah. We have a full review of it.
Yeah.
It was very good. Speaking of techno-nationalists, a lot of big tech people got hacked on Twitter the other day.
Yeah, apologies to anybody who
yesterday or
anyone's been messaging me on Twitter. I took it off my phone when we went to San Diego, and then I put it back on, but I haven't really looked at it. I've kind of not wanted to.
Yeah.
So who all got hacked?
Like Bill Gates. How am I forgetting? I actually have it pulled up on Twitter right now. It is because Shu tweeted about it. She actually took screenshots of everybody, and I liked it. So it's Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, and Joe Biden. Joe Biden also got hacked.
Ooh, interesting.
And the content of like the tweets is like, I've decided to give back to my community, something along those lines. All Bitcoin sent to my address below will be sent back doubled. I am only doing a maximum of $50 million. Enjoy. And then list their Bitcoin address or whatever. But it's all sort of like within that language. Everyone is asking me to give back, and now is the time. Feeling grateful, doubling all payments sent to my Bitcoin address. Grateful is spelt wrong, and that's on Elon Musk's account. And then Joe Biden, I'm giving back to the community. All Bitcoin sent to the addresses below will be sent back doubled. I will send back 2,000 for every 1,000.
So they hacked all these people and they didn't dump information?
Yeah,
That's
they should have just fucking leaked
Yeah.
DMs or something.
Yeah.
That would have been so much better.
Because like if they catch you, you're gonna go to prison anyway. So you might as well. I don't know. Like
yeah, or they'll hire you.
That's kind of boring.
It is really boring. I thought it was going to be a lot cooler, but like hacking just now means making false tweets.
Yeah, that's gay. That's
It
what a
is gay.
disappointment. I was like really
Yeah.
hoping we get a Bezos information dump where
Yeah.
he talks about he's about to molt his lizard skin. He's
You
to
know,
put on a new one.
If you're like a public figure or you're running for office or something, you should just have to release all of your Twitter drafts. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you were horny on Maine one day but decided to save it as a draft and not tweet it, you got to show us.
Mm-hmm.
If you were about to reply to some girl's OnlyFans pic on Twitter, you got to show us. I think really what we need to do now, it's like what Ted Cruz did. It's just like things publicly. And if you're liking porn, that's
I love
what
that
you
so
do.
much. Ted Cruz horny on Maine. And like again, because it's so easy to make an alt account. Although like I don't really have an alt account for that, so like there's sometimes I'm looking at a porn star's thing and
You're
I'm
like, oh fuck.
please. I
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever tapped it on accident. I'm so glad it has a tactile thing now, or like a little vibration.
Oh yeah.
But they should just make like what Mitt Romney did. He made the Pierre Delecto account.
What is that?
You don't know about that?
Oh wait, he had like a private one for his family and friends,
yeah,
right?
it's called Pierre Delecto.
Pierre Delecto?
Yes.
His name was Pierre Delecto.
Yes.
Is he Italian or French? Which is it?
I do not know what he was going. That's like the more interesting part of the story is where did Pierre Delecto come from?
Oh
But
my
like,
God.
do you remember what Anthony Weiner's fake name was? That
I
he
don't.
Used? It was Carlos Danger.
You're fucking kidding. Carlos Danger.
Carlos Danger.
My other name is Theo Rock. I like that one a lot. That would be my porn name if I ever did
Theo
porn.
Rock?
Theo Rock, yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. I like it. It's just like it's very stable, you know? It's very it's memorable and
Rememberable.
it's rememberable.
Melanated.
It's melanated.
Melanated. It's rememberable. It's Hotep, and it's Denver Nuggets jeans.
It's deteriorated.
Deteriorated.
Yeah, it's absolutely that's what it would be. Theo Rock.
Dude, what if we became
R-O-C-K.
what if we became the Minister Farrakhan podcast?
He would probably sue us.
He-
Wait, is he alive?
Yeah, Farrakhan's very much alive.
I don't know anything about Farrakhan.
He just got banned off of Twitter a little while ago. Finally.
For hate speech or what?
Yeah. Because it's like, yeah. Well, because he like, he calls Jews termites and all these kinds of things.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, he goes pretty hard. Because whenever anyone gets like it's kind of like racism now. Like racism's like the new anti-Semitism accusation where it gets thrown around so often that it's like, okay, whenever anyone gets called an anti-Semite, you're like, all right, what do they really say? And then when you read into what he really said, you're like, ooh, okay,
yeah.
there's no backing off of that one.
Uh-huh.
It's not like questioning like debts or you can question banking institutions and like maybe even suggest like that like I was talking to my parents about it yesterday. My dad goes, how many people do you think are in Hollywood are gay? And I'm like, conservatively about 35%. And I'm like, we're probably the most powerful lobby behind the Jews in Hollywood, which it's true. I mean, it's just probably true, like in terms of like power and control. But I think that you can say it that way because it's like we also are a minority group who are very powerful in this specific industry,
Yeah.
right? And so, but if you just say like Jews are running the world, it's no, can't say that.
No, you got to say it from a position of like what you said,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah, it's a I think they call this a dog whistle is what they call it.
A dog whistle. Oh, we didn't talk about
the Tucker
Tucker's thing.
Yeah, it was interesting. So
I didn't watch what he
I
said
had to watch
about it.
because they didn't clip it out, so I had to watch the full episode that someone ripped off to hear his thing at the end, and it was very brief. He was just like, and he kind of defended the guy, which he probably shouldn't have, but it was like,
No.
it was just essentially he said,
If you guys don't know, Tucker's like one of Tucker's lead writers on his show was found to have been participating in like a board for supposed law students who was it's basically just like fucking what is that, the famous one that's actually white nationalist, Stormfront?
yeah.
It's like that but like irony.
Yeah.
It's like well, I mean it's more so just like men being inflammatory for fun.
It's like 4chan, really. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
actually,
that's
a better example.
The politics
forgot
part
that
of
existed.
4chan, it gets pretty wild, and it looks like 4chan too, even worse. It's like a worse-looking image board.
Dude, yeah. So this dude, his name is Blake Neff, I believe. He got found out on this board or whatever. He was exposed for like posts that he had made about like black people and Asian people and stuff. I read what he said, like the stuff that they highlighted. I'm sure he said a lot more, but like one of the jokes was just like about like Asian people not being able to see and black people being bad at things. And so he posted about this kind of thing, and then they found him out, and so he got fired from Tucker, right? He got fired. Yeah, he got fired.
Oh, he resigned, but
He resigned. Okay. But basically that's what happened. But he was one of the lead writers, and so he was writing all the first drafts for Tucker.
for the monologue, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It just sucks because it's like you don't want there's like horrible bad actors on both sides, and you don't really want either of them to get proven right. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like if the Jussie Smollett story wasn't so ridiculous, and I was somebody that was like far on the left, I'd be like, God damn it. You know what I mean? Or like this Bubba Wallace one. Bubba Watson's a golfer. Bubba Wallace.
I don't remember
the noose one where
the
they're still
the NASCAR dude.
they're still
right?
holding on to that. They're just like,
Yeah.
it definitely was a noose, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
I gotta wish Dab a happy birthday.
yeah, because she won't stop. Huh?
Yeah. Happy birthday, Dab.
Happy birthday, Deb.
Okay.
So, yeah, so if you were on the left, like that one would have made you crazy, right?
Yeah.
So this is like one on the right where it's like Tucker's kind of the last. It's he's tough though, man, because like I watched that full show and I think that I only typically watched the monologues, and like even when he was talking about Chaz, it was like before anything had actually happened, it was like this is the destruction of America and whatever, and it's like no, it's a city kind of running an experiment, and what ended up ending was they became cops and shot unarmed black kids, which is what cops do. So it's like, all right, well that's the inevitable conclusion of the experiment, and the experiment failed. But everything is just so catastrophized for his audience that it gets pretty silly. And then he always spins things into like this pro-life argument where it's like, but you know, Democrats they care about black kids getting killed, but not babies. And you're like, okay, Tucker,
Oh my fucking god.
shut up, dude.
But
But
you could say the same about people
anything.
who are pro-life not wearing masks.
Right.
It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
Old people's lives don't matter, but babies do, or
Right.
like unborn babies do. Yeah. But like the thing that I take issue with is that like I don't think. Because this dude, Blake Neff, admitted to like putting Easter eggs into his opening monologue
Sure.
speeches for his board members, his image board members, and I think that's kind of where you got to draw the line. It's like if you are putting in Easter eggs to this small group of people that you participate with, they know who you are, and they're looking for your message in that. I just think like. Tucker's message reaches so many people. It's the highest rated show on TV,
But
isn't it?
I mean, was it confirmed that they were like racist Easter eggs, or was it just
I don't
like,
know.
for instance, like we call each other Bones? If I would have like thrown in like several bone references in one, like in one.
He doesn't specify, so Blake Neff didn't specify. But the thing is, like, he reaches such a wide audience. He should have just been more responsible with what he was doing online.
Hmm.
And I don't think somebody in that position who's irresponsible with what they're posting online, and considering like we're in a climate where we should be responsible online because of what can happen to you, but also for consideration for others. But like him posting these things just shows to me that he wasn't acting responsibly with such an important job that reaches 500 million people, you know?
Yeah, do you,
Not
do you-
500 million.
like 5
a lot.
million.
Yeah, 5 million.
Do you know how he got, like, was it his name on it, or how did he get attached to it?
I don't remember exactly, but he was on this board under the username Charles the 12th or
Yeah.
something like that. And I don't know. I think they just connected it via email or something, and they found him. But the thing is, the whole board knew who he was. They knew that he was a writer for Tucker.
Oh yeah, that's a mistake. Because someone will out you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that's not how you participate online. It's like, and I think that like there's a level of like message boards have been around forever, and they're kind of like pre-Twitter. They looked like that place. I mean, it just is
Yeah.
like. It's where everyone takes their worst instincts and just dumps them into a place because you participate anonymously, right? But like message boards would always get ruined because I participated on a ton of them when people would give out too much personal information. They get doxxed. It would start this whole fucking snafu because people who like the thing is like if you're going on there for like irony laughs or whatever, that's one thing. But there are people on there who are legitimately crazy and aren't very social in real life, and it's kind of all they have.
Yeah.
And so like if they decide to go after you, like there was one person I knew, this is years ago, where they were getting their employer called and like their wife's number, like all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
And so it's the Wild West because it's people who aren't existing on Twitter or aren't allowed to are the ones that end up on these message boards.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it bummed me out, and like I honestly didn't really want to read too much about it, but just again because like I think that the fever pitch of like the racial discussion in this country is like it's just so much finger pointing in one direction that I hate when they're given meat like this. It really bums me out, and so but whatever, fuck it.
Yeah.
Honestly, like fuck Tucker, fuck all this shit. Fuck Biden, fuck Trump. I'm just like I'm so done with all of it. It's just I'm bored.
Yeah.
I'm bored. I'm fucking bored. And it's like fuck Rising, Jimmy Dore. Like I listen to all these people, and it's like they're just the same shit every day, or it's like people on Rising that are like trying to warm up to Joe Biden because they think like the far left may actually be a threat for not voting for him. But then they all are showing these polls in which they're so confident that he'll win, like as if they learned nothing from 2016. So it's just like
Jesus.
I don't know. I have found the news to be the least interesting thing ever right now.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had somebody try to convince me the other day that Biden was definitely going to win because everybody who irony voted for Trump in 2016 is not going to irony vote for him again.
How could
I
you
just
know?
don't think that's true.
How could you know that? Like, how could
Yeah.
you possibly know that? I mean, the only thing with a level of certainty that I can say is that Trump doesn't really seem to be trying. I mean,
Right.
it's almost as if to me in the last 3 weeks he doesn't want the job anymore.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to be trying at all. And so I don't know.
Yeah.
I really
But
don't know.
would he like jeopardize his own reputation to? I feel like he's such like a narcissist kind of dude
to lose? Yeah.
that he wouldn't jeopardize his reputation so much that he loses in the election. I feel like the only thing he could do if he didn't actually want it is drop out because people fucking stand by him no matter what.
Mhm.
And he's not going to drop out as to serve his ego.
Right.
You know. I don't know. It sucks because I don't want to vote for either of them.
I know. Neither do I.
And yet, saying that means that I'm violent.
Right. Isn't that interesting?
So I don't really know what's
Well,
going
and
to
like
happen.
that's the kind of thing of like the solution to that is so simple. Like if somebody says, "Oh, if you don't vote at all, then it's a vote for Trump and you're a racist or whatever," you just go, "Fuck you."
Fuck you.
Fuck you. And also get the fuck out of my face. Enough of you. Because like that's the kind of thing. I think that's like the position we need to start taking. And this is like a version of what I've said before. Is like I take the word racist very seriously, unlike everybody. And so when people call me that, it's like this relationship is over.
Yeah, Dunzo.
Over. So like if you're willing to throw around that shit willy-nilly, like I don't trust you. I don't trust to tell you secrets. I don't trust you around me. I don't trust you to know what I have. I don't trust you. Get the fuck away from me. So I think that's kind of, but what's so tough right now is that I think everyone's losing their fucking mind because we're now probably going to enter another stay-at-home order situation, and we've already been locked. What's it been 4 months now?
Since like March 15th is about when it happened. So it's July 15th today.
Yeah. So by August,
April, May, June, July, 4 months.
4 months. So yeah, it's been 4 months. Happy 4 months of quarantine. But and so we were down in San Diego, and San Diego County has 3.3 million people, right? And then LA County, where we live, has 11 million people. So roughly, they have 3 times the population of San Diego County, right? But they have 10 times the amount of coronavirus cases.
Yeah.
And what was different?
Yeah.
The protests, obviously. But they still are gaslighting us into saying that had nothing to do with it. And like, but the thing is like, you could admit that people got, because you got medical professionals that actually come out and say that racism is a bigger health crisis than coronavirus. So you have those people to speak for you now by just telling the truth and saying that the protests don't lose merit, but they also caused this spike.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Yeah, you can have both. It's not like they're mutually exclusive. Like the protests can be a problem in spreading the virus, but they can also be doing some good in the world, or like they still have a reputation for making change.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like the protests are useless. It's so stupid that like people won't admit that was a problem. I don't know what happened with protests in San Diego, but I imagine they were smaller.
I mean, Orange County and San Diego essentially just didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then like even if they did, the one that we saw on Hollywood Boulevard, nothing can compete with that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was insane. Like, have you seen that aerial photo of it?
Yeah, it was
dude,
crazy.
get out of here. And it's like,
and they
then
went on for days,
and people are screaming. So like, people are like, well, they're wearing masks and they're outdoors. It's like, yeah, but if you're tits to ass and like you're yelling, like it's gonna go, everywhere. And so I don't know. Like, and so everyone's losing their mind is my point. And it just seems like we've talked about a version of this before. Is when we're moving towards a more secular society, I hoped that people would find reason and meaning within themselves, right? And Jesus Christ, they've, no pun intended, they have just made different religions. And so now it's the religion of anti-racism, the religion of or people are like now we have trad caths, kind of now they're getting back into religion hardcore again. People that I never expected to get back into it because I don't know. I moved away from saying that it's stupid people. I just think that the crisis of meaning is so strong in people that
They're desperate for culture.
I could not have really anticipated that happening.
Yeah.
Like that people would be this desperate for meaning.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would just like get a knit, learn how to knit, do something, like find a hobby, find meaning in something, do origami, go volunteer somewhere.
Yeah.
Like that's the one. Like
Build a fucking like Zen garden.
yeah,
Rake some sand, bitch.
dude. Really, honestly, like if people that are feeling like this, that need to like they're like these activist type people in either direction, if they went and volunteered at the home like for the homeless
That'd be
like
great.
consistently, it would really probably stop that energy in them.
Yeah.
Or join AA or so, I don't know, something. Go do something. Be of service somewhere. I don't know. Just stop bothering me with it.
Maybe that'll help fulfill me in the fall when I'm going back to school.
Go to AA.
No, not go to AA.
Oh.
I'll actually like proctor a class or something like we were talking about before. Because that'll fulfill me. That'll give me some meaning. Yeah. You know, I've been feeling like really fucking aimless since we got back.
Yeah.
With school, it's fucking awful.
I mean, I've been living in Red Dead Redemption, so.
Dude, I know. I'm so happy for you. It's great. I'm so glad you get to kill people as a cowboy without consequence.
Mhm. Yeah.
Without real life consequences.
There was this guy selling these get-rich-quick books, and I lassoed him and fed him to alligators.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah, I felt pretty good about that.
Oh my god. That is so cool. No, yeah, I've been like, I wish I was hotter, or why do I care about my body, or why am I even in school, or I need to finish school. It's so fucking terrible, you know.
Yeah.
But since we got back, yeah, like oh my god, our trip was great.
It was.
I loved it. The place we stayed at, meh.
The view was great,
You know,
but
great view, great location.
but the potential was
meh.
wasted on it. Yeah.
A lot of wasted potential.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went down to San Diego. Restaurants were like sort of open for patio dining.
Well, what sucks is that we went down there because it was supposed to be the place that had been totally open, which also goes to show that. That because they were trying to blame it on people went to bars and that's why the spike, and it's like they've been open.
Yeah.
They never really closed.
Yeah.
And so they should be the petri dish for a giant explosion of cases, and they weren't. But yeah, so they were doing indoor dining, but they literally shut it down the day
we got there. Yeah.
But I wasn't really terribly interested in doing that anyway.
No, patio dining is always really nice. And they've actually set up some places down the street here.
I've noticed that too,
that we usually frequent.
It's
that have
fucking
outdoor now.
It's fucking weird though. Like it was weird to eat at a restaurant because I realized it had been like 3 months. It was like tense, kind of.
They sat us on like the corner of this pathway where people could walk by at the first restaurant we sat at.
And these drunk wine moms were like stumbling all over us.
Yeah, like grabbing our table to balance themselves, and it's like, I don't want to do this. And so we moved. Luckily, we were able to. But yeah, it was weird. I was still nervous to do it. I mean, we wore our masks when we got there, sat down, and obviously took them off once we sat down. But like,
I must have been shooting daggers at those women because they would not stop staring at us.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it was, just like.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. We're white and women.
It was ridiculous. It was really that first instance at our first restaurant was pretty ridiculous. But the rest of it was really nice. The other places we went to were great. And it was nice. It was a nice refresh to do that.
The beach was
take some
perfect,
time
too.
off. Oh yeah, agreed. There were a fuck ton of people there.
There were, but I mean,
there were cones marking where you could. Actually, the cones were actually marking the pathway for like a sand rover.
Yeah.
For a car, but they were distanced enough that people, I think, assumed that that's where you could set up camp. You know?
Yeah, and I think people kind of also, understood because I think that
of course,
that was actually kind of an interesting experiment because people didn't have to be polite with that. There were so many people, but I think that like it was kind of a good example of people are generally good moment. How everyone was kind of distanced out, except for the guy that was fucking fishing in the middle of like tons of people. So
asshole.
There's one fucking turd.
You just don't do that generally.
No.
You know, you don't fish at a crowded beach.
No.
You'll snag someone.
Right.
And you take up like a fuck ton of beach.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like 25 feet on either side of you is off limits because you decided to fish offshore. What are you going to catch? What are you going to catch in 10 feet into the water?
Mackerel or something? I don't know.
Yeah, tell me. I'll tell you all about catching horse mackerel. I catch them all day in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, I fucking do, and I hate them.
Why
the fuck would you want to catch a horse mackerel offshore?
I've been catching a lot of bass in Red Dead.
You also caught a sturgeon.
A giant sturgeon, yeah.
Yeah. When you sent that picture to me, it did look like a cock.
Mm-hmm.
The way it was angled, it was like he was holding it like this, as if like a big Bara man just unzipped his pants and and like flopped out his
Put
big
his
heavy
Robert
dick.
Mapplethorpe penis in your arm.
That's exactly what I saw.
Wrap
when
it
you
around
sent
your
it.
wrist like a watch.
That's what I saw. I was like, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was filled with this emotion of like, oh my god, what if I wrapped that fish around my wrist? Oh wait, it's because it looks like a cock.
Yep.
We need to talk about Ghislaine.
Oh yeah. So she had denied bail, which is good news.
Yes. So I put in the note some things that I wanted to
Okay.
talk about. So she pleads not guilty.
Right. Which of course.
Of course, yeah. And these are charges that she got taken up on that happened like 20 years ago.
90, like the mid 90s.
Yeah, mid 90s.
Which is unfortunate because I think that the thing that she's charged with is conspiracy to move minors across state borders or something.
And like enticing a minor for like prostitution or something.
No, it's the prostitution's not in the language.
She didn't get that?
No.
Fuck, dude. Maybe
Yeah.
I was mixing that up with Epstein's.
Right.
But yeah, so she pleads not guilty to that. It's something that happened 25 years ago that they're charging her on. Yeah, she was denied bail. But before she was denied bail, she was like her lawyer, Mark Cohen, I think, Mark S. Cohen or something. What was that face? Don't say anything. You're gonna turn into Nick Cannon over here. Yeah, so her lawyer was like,
it would have been Dershowitz if he wasn't all tangled up in this.
dude, I know. That's the thing. I was expecting to see Dershowitz's name on there.
The man that gets put on TV to make people more anti-Semitic.
Dude, I don't get it. Like, he takes all these awful fucking cases, and of course people are going to associate your identity with the bad shit that you do.
Right, naturally.
Just, like, protect yourself and your community, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, so Cohen was, like, arguing that, like, her being in jail is or staying in prison for until her trial is like dangerous because she could get COVID or like other inmates would hurt her. But then obviously the other side of the argument is like she's a massive flight risk.
Right.
She could disappear at any moment.
I think she holds 3 passports. But the one that was the tricky one is the French one because she couldn't be extradited if she went to France.
Yeah. And the UK it's virtually impossible to extradite from the UK.
Yeah, which is, because we've been trying to do that with Julian Assange, which I don't want that to happen, but I also want he should be freed, but it's an aside. So she, there was some stuff, so she's in solitary confinement now. She's been moved a bunch, which is really interesting. The other thing I think is really interesting is we've not seen a single picture of her. Not even a courtroom sketch.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing.
Well, she wasn't in the courtroom. They did it digitally.
Doesn't matter.
But they should have, they should have drawn the fucking
because it was
Zoom
weird.
script.
It's like I watched this ABC News report about it yesterday, and they were like, and she was wearing a brown shirt and this and that. So they saw, some people saw what she looked like.
There was a phone queue to listen in that had like thousands of people on it, and then I think the video queue only had like 100 because that's all they could like do or something. But the reporter that I was reading, I forget her name. It's like Jessica or Jennifer Taub or something. It's a bummer that I don't remember her name because she had this like 104 tweet thread of the entire hearing, and part of it. So while they were arguing for her to get bail, Ghislaine offered to pay for and stay in a luxury hotel until her court date, instead of being in prison during the time time in between. Which is really fucking cool because she also declared that she had 0 income during the present time. So where is she going to get the money to pay for the
She has $20
hotel
million.
room?
We know that.
That's the thing, but she didn't disclose any of that information.
Right.
It's actually like kind of a secret that she has.
Because she was getting it from Epstein, but she claims
Yeah.
she hasn't seen him in 10 years.
Yeah. So she has all this money.
Right.
She's making $0 a month.
Yeah.
And she can afford a luxury hotel room that she offered to pay for instead of staying in prison. And her court date is July 13th or July 12th.
It's in a year.
It's in exactly 1 year.
Which sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Sucks. And so, do I think everyone, because like I've been this Epstein truther for so long. It's like people are like, she's gonna die, and I'm like, nope. But what's gonna happen is she'll throw someone low level like Bill Richardson under the bus, who was the ex-governor of New Mexico, or just someone like that, which I'd have to explain who that is because you don't know their name. She's gonna be in prison or jail for a year. And then she'll get time served and she'll get let out. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be totally disappointing.
It sucks, dude. Yeah. I've been seeing all these takes on Twitter that she's like a girl boss, that she's going to out Trump as a pedophile. She'd be like, it was Trump. Trump raped all of these little girls that I accidentally brought to him. However the fuck she sounds.
That's pretty close.
Okay, thank you. And like I've been seeing like these weird neoliberal takes.
Actually, for the sake of you guys, if you guys haven't, I found a video finally of her because I hadn't heard her speak. So she did.
weird.
She
It's
was
very
part of
weird.
this like this thing called the Terramar Project.
Oh.
So you can hear her speak in this video about it, and it was like something very vaguely about cleaning up the oceans, but really it's probably a money laundering scheme.
Oh, of course.
But here's her speaking.
Yeah.
On the stage here, we have
Of course.
Down
It's
into the deep, and I
only
went
out
down
of
to
one
over
ear.
1,500 feet. And at 1,500 feet, I switched on the lights, hoping to see a new mythical sea creature. But in fact, what I saw
Was trash.
was a plastic hanger.
Ooh.
I was so absolutely devastated, but it was at that moment that I realized that I was really going to dedicate the rest of my life to taking an involvement with and bringing an
the
education.
rest of her life, huh?
Exactly. And I want to know. I want to know if she's fat. That's really what I want to know.
If she's like gotten fat.
Gotten fat. Yeah.
I honestly don't think so.
No.
As much as I would love to see it, I don't think she's the kind of lady. Like, I feel like she has this, like, self-respect about her that's like, I'm untouchable, and I need to look hot while being untouchable, you know?
You know what's so interesting about her is she's not attractive, but she's like she would never strike me as evil. Like
Yeah.
her whole demeanor and like again, I had never really seen her speak until this video came out. Or has been out, I guess, but people found it. Did that Reddit account, did you find out any more about that?
No, all I know is that she's, like, one of the most popular fucking Reddit accounts out there. That she's one of the highest upvoted Reddit accounts.
So basically, by showing this Terramar project, is her and Greta are really good friends.
Oh, yeah, that's actually... So
How
Greta...
dare you?
Greta is involved in, enticing minors and bringing them cross borders.
Yes. Well, she was going to be an Epstein victim, but they found potential in her orator skills.
Maybe there is
her
something
potato
behind
face.
that.
Yeah, I don't know, but anyway, I think you're all gonna be disappointed. And so apparently though that she's been moved around a lot because they put her with roommates, and then the rumor that I was hearing was that people were getting incentivized to do something to her because people would exchange favors because it would be this big deal, and so she's now in solitary confinement.
Fine.
So we'll see.
Should be.
Yeah, and I just think it's gonna be really disappointing. I hope not, but it will be.
I really hope for the best.
What else we got? Is it? I can't read the comments from here, so like, is there anything interesting coming in?
I'm trying to keep up, but it's really tough because I've got my tiny phone screen and I've got to squint at it. Is my light all the way on? I look a little dim. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I
think it's just not facing you as much.
Oh, that's true. We don't simp for Ghislaine. Unfortunately, no, we don't simp for Ghislaine. It sucks because I see fucking losers on Twitter doing that.
I mean,
it's like she is the devil.
No, but see, like, okay, the one angle through which I will simp for her is I love when women are like she may be more evil than the man in this than Epstein in this, and especially because of her connections with her father. It's like she's way more subversive and just like a tick in this whole thing, just deeply embedded. That she's probably the most evil person that we know about. Like, again, I think that the whole Epstein operation is part of a, like, very this big and part of this whole conspiracy, which I think is a global intelligence thing that all started with. So, like, her father, Robert Maxwell, was a newspaper magnate in England. He ended up funding an Israeli paramilitary group. Well, they were the Mossad at the time, and they basically formed Israel, essentially, is what ended up happening.
Yeah.
He also was spying for the KGB. I don't really know why.
He's a spy for everybody.
For
It's
everybody.
fucking crazy. He's like a triple agent, I think.
Pretty much.
A retired triple agent.
And then he drowned mysteriously.
Of course.
And then
He's a liability.
Yeah. And so what I think, like I've said before, is what I think this was a massive honeypot scheme to entrap powerful people to get them to do what they wanted them to do.
I mean, that whole family is fucked up, as we learned on Tim Dillon's podcast.
Yeah.
All of like
her siblings are all in some weird
siblings. She has twin sisters who are like software engineers who created like spy software for the U.S. that they still use.
Yep. And also like spy software for the Israelis, which we now use part of our like intelligence infrastructure. It's crazy. So like again, like the fact that like when you know that this many different intelligence agencies are somehow involved in something that's like so obviously crime, it's way bigger than you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. It's just here. And like again, like my parents were asking me like, why do you think that this isn't like, why do you think nothing's going to happen to her? Because they were just so insistent that something would. And I'm like, because the public can never get as angry as they're supposed to, because I don't think the average person can really understand, like really digest how dark this whole thing is. Like, I don't think that they really can. Like the idea of like children, like, children at least, like I think the youngest they were saying with her was 14, but I think they were younger than that as well. Never like little children, but there also is a connection with the Franklin scandal thing, which is where Child Protective Services were funneling kids into pedophile shit. So I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know how far this goes with them or with the other connections. I mean, just honestly, like this whole nation, this whole world, it seems like, other than like maybe China, is like founded on fucking children. It just seems like every bigger, like too big to fail institution has fucked at least.
Yeah, at the very least,
1,000
it's the
kids.
entire Western world. The U.S., it's all of Western Europe.
Yeah.
Because of Catholicism. Dude, like, the amount of boy raping they did.
No kidding.
In the sake of what? Christianity?
Right.
You know?
Well, yeah, and I think that's what's interesting, too, is that, did you notice that the tone shifts dramatically when it's girls? It, like, has, like, a really stark difference in, like, how we talk about it. Like, the Catholic Church scandal was like a blip. It was just a blip, and then I think 2 people were prosecuted, and the rest of them were just shuffled around. And it was like a...
Well, that's what they've been doing for decades. Dude. There
Yeah.
was I watched a Netflix like crime documentary. I think it was The Keepers, and that one is about like I think his name is like Father Maskell, and he raped like dozens of little girls at this school. And what they did is they moved him around, and this was decades ago. This was like 30 years ago at least. And they just moved him to a new school where he continued to do that. And if they caught him, they moved him again. And so, like, these people are, like, virtually impervious to, like, punishment because it's considered, like, I don't know, like a private thing in the church. And so, like, it's not ever brought upon, like, legal issues. And if it ever is, the church just takes care of it, you know? But yeah, it's a fucking problem, and it still is.
Yeah. Well, my point is just that, like, I think that society doesn't care as much about boys getting raped because men are not supposed to carry trauma. we're not really like as allowed to. I will put it that way, to carry trauma around. Like, we have to just shoulder it, you know. And I think that women are more free to express trauma and like what happened to them and how it's affecting them now as an adult. I just think men still aren't really given the permission to do that, but.
I think like there's a difference in the way men and women express their trauma too.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, men can become very violent with PTSD. They can kill. But women, I don't know. I'm not as familiar with it. I feel like there are more studies on male PTSD than female. Because of war. Yeah. So I'm not sure, but yeah, like male PTSD is dangerous. I don't know so much about female PTSD.
Well, I mean, it manifests. There's at least I can show you 200 movies that are about that.
That's true.
You
Yeah,
know?
you could.
And then there's probably like 5 about someone who got raped as a boy who's now a man. You know, so it's just, I don't know. Society just cares less about it. I don't know why it's fucked up. That was my point. That's all it is. So on a lighter note, there's an article I wanted to read.
Oh, before we get light, Naya Rivera died.
Oh,
they found her body.
She was in Glee, right?
She was in Glee, and I can't help but feel a little responsible.
Why is that?
Because I started watching Glee again right before she died, and then I stopped, and she stopped getting my streaming revenue, and she died.
That's a good theory.
In all seriousness, though, like it's awful because she was great. She was one of the best parts of the show.
It's awful, but it's weird. Like,
it is weird.
I don't really understand what, like, unless she was wasted.
So she was on a lake with her son, her 4-year-old son. They both went for like a dip. They were in like a paddle boat or something. They both went for a dip. Her son ends up back in the boat, but she doesn't. She disappears for 4 days. They find her body, declare her dead. But like, yeah, what's strange is that the son just got back in and was found a couple hours later, but she disappeared. Does that mean like she's a less competent swimmer than he is? And I don't know.
He's 4, right?
He's 4. Yeah. It was really, really weird, and it's tough because she was.
He was 4.
Like,
he might have had like floaties on.
Oh, probably. But he ended up back in the boat without her.
Right.
So I don't know. I really don't know, and it's really tragic. 'Cause she was just so good. She has this really great cover of Valerie, that she does on Glee. It's so good, and like it makes me so sad because I used to love that show as a kid, and so I started rewatching it. But yeah, she had a great career. She was acting since she was like 4 years old.
Yeah, I'm curious to know more about that one.
Yeah, me too. I hope they announce more. But yeah, rest in peace to her. She was Santana on Glee.
Oh yeah.
The kind of bratty one.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I like her. Anyways, back to lighthearted. Let's
lighthearted
do it.
news. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna read the headline of this article. Boop. Tech CEO dismembered in luxury NYC condo. Video shows him attacked by person in black suit. Report.
Very lighthearted. Great.
I have to
Good
get the
going,
actual article.
Bones.
There we go. Hang on 1 second. No, go away. Block. Okay, so is that gonna let me read the full story without clicking through?
Good
Okay.
going, Bones.
The dead body of tech CEO Fahim Saleh, 33, was reportedly found in his luxury condo in Manhattan. He had been decapitated and dismembered, officials told the New York Times. Authorities did not identify him at first, but friends did, speaking on condition of anonymity. Saleh's sister found the body at about 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday. She had not heard from him for a day, and she went to check on him at his Houston Street, whatever apartment. It was then
pronounced Houston.
It was Houston.
Yeah, New York, they pronounce it Houston, like a fucking group of idiots.
Well, I won't be doing that. It was then that she made the tragic discovery. A saw was found at the scene. Law enforcement officials said that the detectives are looking into whether the sister's arrival interrupted the killer because the saw was still plugged in.
Oh my fucking god, dude.
It was suggested that the suspect fled through a service exit. Video surveillance from the elevator at Saleh's building reportedly showed him entering with a person who was wearing a black suit and mask. Saleh entered his apartment and the attacker had followed him. They struggled. Detectives initially found just the victim's head and the electric saw. His head and limbs were found later at the apartment. This looked like a professional killing, said law enforcement source to the New York Post. The reasons were that there was almost no blood left behind, and there was no looting. It didn't look like a perp was done. The source said. Saleh was the CEO of Gokada, a motorcycle startup company in Lagos, Nigeria. It initially focused on ride-hailing, but transitioned to being a delivery service after a ban on commercial motorcycles in the city.
What?
Yeah.
What's the motivation? What was he working on?
I don't know. I kind of picture some crazy. He owed some Nigerians some money, and they went.
So they killed him?
I mean,
you think that they would kill his family to get the money?
I mean, the joke that I had was that what did he know about Hillary Clinton, and then when did she start taking tips from the Sinaloa cartel on how to kill people?
Jesus, dude.
'Cause
Yeah,
that-
very lighthearted, Bones.
Well, it was a joke. I think that like what's so crazy about it is it is such like a cartel kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's which makes you wonder. But yeah, it's such a violent way for it to happen. You're like, huh.
Jesus Christ. That's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what he was working on that got him into such deep trouble, because that is clearly a hit.
Let me see if I can find anything.
Hell yeah, brother. Yeah, that's scary. I mean, we already have a Hillary Clinton joke in the chat.
Of course. It's our podcast.
The third person on the boat was Hillary Clinton with Naya Rivera. Yeah, dude. I don't know. That's scary. I don't want to get hacked to bits.
No, it's a pretty terrible way to go. But yeah, I mean,
Although
don't know.
it'd probably be a pretty swift death if they just did your head, right? It'd
yeah.
be painful for a split second and then you die.
Well, I suspect that they probably killed him first, and then they did like a this is like to make a statement.
Yeah.
Is what I think. But
yeah,
I don't know. Dark.
Very dark. Not fun at all. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm curious to know like what that one's about.
Ugh.
But anyway, I think that's
it for me.
We love you all, and we will see you next time.
Next week. Friday, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
If something new happens.
If something new happens. Adios.
Bye.